As a foreigner, I would say subjective. It's a good thing to learn about some countries' history through different views. I think it's good to be neutral when you need to talk about history. Hi guys, I'm Fabien Yoon, I'm from France and I'm working as an actor in Korea, and I'm also doing tour at the Korean Contemporary History Museum here in Seoul. Nice to meet you guys.
La visite, ça c'est interdit, je vous préviens tout de suite.
3.
When did you come to Korea for the first time?
Almost 13 years before as a tourist. I have been living here for a little bit more than 11 years.
Like someone to come to a new country and live for that long, there must be something about Korea you like. What is it?
Actually, my mother wanted me to practice a martial art. I was very short and very skinny at the time, and she wanted me to do some kind of martial art to know how to defend myself. And there was a taekwondo-jang close to where I used to live in Paris, so I started by chance, I would say. But no, I cannot believe it was my destiny, you know.
That brought you here today to
Yes.
explain contemporary history.
Exactly.
Could you just briefly explain what got you so hooked into Korean history?
People usually ask me, like, how did you learn Korean history? And I always answer, I didn't learn Korean history, I just like mingled into it. I did a lot of historical drama, sageuk, so I had to learn like the background of the story, because I would play a guy who was like in the Joseon dynasty, which is over, as you may know. So I had to know what was the background of Korea at that time. So I started to read a lot of books about Korea, and it got me into it. Usually when I'm interested into something, I get really passionate about it and I want to know everything. So that's what happened with Korean history. Yeah.
And you mentioned that you're now touring here. How did you first tour here?
So since I was interested in Korean history, I used to visit this museum quite often actually, just to, because there is a lot of things. And I saw one day an ad about the museum looking for foreigners to tour foreigners. So I thought to myself, yeah, that's for me. I want to do that, so I applied. I got to do tours for English and French speakers.
And as a foreigner, to explain Korean history, what do you think the advantages are?
As a foreigner, I would say subjective. It's a good thing to learn about some countries' history through different views. I think it's good to be neutral when you need to talk about history. Just focus on the facts and on the background, and just stick to that. Not to explain history with your emotions and everything.
What is your favorite exhibition in this museum?
I don't have any favorites since I like Korean history as a whole, but I like this part of the museum when you have all the old taegukgi, all the Korean flags. So you have a white background that symbolizes purity and peace. And you have this circle in the center that is called the taegut. So you have the positive and negative energies, so they need to balance each other. So that's a concept that is very important in Korea, harmony. And you also have what we call gwe in Korean, sagwe. So they represent the sky, the water, the earth, and the fire.
Amazing.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that I'm Korean.
So this is the first Korean flag that was ever made. So yeah, Korean people should know that.
As you're preparing your tours, what are some difficulties you might face?
Since I'm doing it for fun and just to interact with people, to make people interested into Korean history, I don't have any difficulties, I would say. At the end of the tour, when they come to me and they say, oh, thank you, I thought I knew Korea, but actually I didn't know anything about Korea. So when you look at the country now in 2020, you see this beautiful country with these tall buildings, and everything is new, everything is very modern, but you don't know what Korea had to suffer. They had to go through all these hardships and everything, and people, especially foreigners, they might not know that. So I think it's good to tell them how we end up in being such a nice and beautiful country, all the process. It's very rewarding for me when people tell me that they learned a lot and that they didn't expect so much hardships in Korean history and everything.
I'm very happy to be here today, and I learned a lot more about the history and what happened years ago and how sad it was actually.
약간 저도 한국인이지만 그런 걸 잘 몰라서 되게 뜻깊은 시간이었던 것 같습니다.
아, 저한테 재밌었어요. 진짜요. 그렇구나. 진짜요? 역사를 그렇게 잘 알아요. 진짜요. 저는 깜짝 놀랐어요. 저는 판소리 대해서 설명할 수 있으면 진짜 좋겠다고 생각했어요. 그래서 판소리 앞으로 열심히 공부하는.
Hi to all the people watching Korea now. So now we are in Seoul at the Contemporary History Museum of Korea. Come here and learn more about the Korean culture, about what you like about Korea. Please visit the Museum of Korean Contemporary History. I will be here to tour you. Anytime is good. Just get in touch with me, and I will see you soon in Korea, hopefully. Thank you. Bye bye.